They say time reveals all truths, but I never expected that after years of shared dreams, whispered promises under moonlit skies, and sacrifices I made without ever asking for anything in return, the truth that finally unraveled would come not in a moment of anger or argument, but in a calm, detached sentence spoken over morning coffee like it meant nothing. I regret every second I spent with you. And the mug in my hand didn't slip, my heart didn't race. No dramatic cinematic tear fell down my cheek. No, I just looked at her, the woman I had loved more fiercely than I ever loved myself, and realized in that cold morning sunlight that she hadn't been mine for a long, long time, and maybe never was, and what hit hardest wasn't the sentence itself, but the ease with which she said it, as if every memory we'd built together, the road trips, the nights we lay on the floor dreaming about the future, the meals I learned to cook just because she liked them, the way I held her through job losses, anxiety, her father's death. All of it was now meaningless in her eyes, erased not by time but by choice, deliberate and cruel. And I didn't ask why, didn't demand an explanation, because I knew by then explanations from her were just stories built to justify betrayal dressed in false enlightenment. And deep down I already sensed it, long before she voiced those words, in the way she stopped waiting up for me when I worked late, the way her phone now lived face down on silent, the way her eyes lit up for texts she never let me see, and how intimacy became a chore rather than a choice, subtle shifts that I had chalked up to stress. But no amount of excuses could mask the truth forever, so I began observing instead of pleading, listening instead of hoping, and in the quiet I discovered everything. The lunches she never mentioned, the receipts she didn't know I found, the password she forgot to change when she reactivated her old profile where he commented under every photo. The one she said was just an ex from a long-forgotten past. And I knew then, not with rage but with clarity, that love can't be nurtured alone, and betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's silent neglect that poisons you slowly until one day you wake up next to a stranger wearing the face of someone you once adored. And I didn't confront her right away because I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of controlling the narrative. So I let her spiral, let her fall deeper into her web of lies, let her assume I was too blind or too passive to see through it. And in that time, I prepared myself not for revenge but for release, because true strength isn't in retaliation. It's in walking away without dragging your soul through more dirt. So I started downsizing, clearing out my closet piece by piece, returning keys she didn't even notice were gone, slowly moving my life back into myself where it always belonged, until the day came when I was ready, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with the peace of knowing I had given everything and she had gambled it away like it was nothing. And so after she said what she said, that she regretted every second, I didn't flinch, I didn't raise my voice or beg for closure. I just stood, nodded once, went to the bedroom, picked up the single duffel bag I'd packed weeks ago, and walked past her without another glance, because some goodbyes don't need explanations or grand exits, just the quiet certainty that you deserve better. And as I opened the door, her voice wavered for the first time in years, asking, "You're not even going to fight for me?" And I stopped, turned just enough to meet her eyes and said, "I did every day, but you weren't worth the war." And I left, not with vengeance or despair, but with the kind of peace that comes from surviving heartbreak with dignity intact, because sometimes the greatest revenge is not making someone hurt the way they hurt you, but letting them sit alone with the weight of what they lost, knowing they'll never again be worthy of the love they once took for granted. And as I stepped into the world outside, free from the prison of false affection and emotional neglect, I smiled, not because I was over it, but because I was finally free enough to begin healing, to begin again, and to build a life that wouldn't have to beg to be cherished.